Good morning, afternoon, or evening. My name is Adam with the Theory, and welcome to another episode of Adam's Theory. So, I just bought myself a new shirt today, so I'm feeling myself. All right. And since I'm in a good mood, I'm going to bless you guys with a theory of mine because, you guys came to Adam and you want to hear his theory, and the show is called Adam's Theory. So, here it is. Adam's Theory number one. There's only two types of dungeon masters out there. All right. It doesn't matter if you became a dungeon master yesterday or if you've been doing the dungeon master thing for the past 10 or 15 years. I put you in one of these two boxes. One box is the Lord of the Ring dungeon master, and the second one is Smash Brothers dungeon master. All right. So let me start off with the Smash Brothers Dungeon Master because I think most Dungeon Masters fall into this category. Now, these are the Dungeon Masters that want all the smoke. All right? As soon as you go and you step on the table, they got like 20 monsters ready for you, ready to roll initiative, ready to use their legendary actions against you. They want you. They're hungry. They got their teeth like, All right? If a session is 3 hours, you're fighting for 2 hours and 30 minutes. And you get a 15-minute break. All right? You're fighting. You're using all your resources. I remember one time I was playing a barbarian. I did not know there was a limit to the number of rages I could have because I never used them all in a session or combat. But with the Smash Brothers Dungeon Master, oh yeah, you're using it all. You're a wizard, you're using all your spell slots. All right? All of them. You're a paladin, you better be selective with those smites. Oh yeah, you better be. Now, the good thing about these dungeon masters are that because they're throwing everything at you. They're throwing every monster in the dungeon in the, what is it called? I'm sorry, I can't even talk. The monster manual. Then they're getting extra books with more monsters in it. And then they may homebrew a couple that are completely broken and not fair and shouldn't even be in the game. But that is what these dungeon masters do. Now, the good thing about these dungeon masters are the fact that because they're throwing everything at you, they're going to give you everything. These are some of the most generous dungeon masters ever. All right? You want a +1 weapon? Man, get yourself a +4 weapon. You want a wand of fireball? I'm gonna give you the wand of the galaxy wizard. You a monk? I'm gonna give you the soul catching nunchucks. Nunchucks. Is nunchucks or nunchucks? It's nunchucks, right? All right, it's nunchucks. Yeah, nunchucks. Yeah. So they will give you every magic item you want. Also, because they are trying to go and throw so many monsters at you, they want it to be a fair fight. So you will level up. With these Smash Brothers Dungeon Masters, I feel like I level up every other week. I don't even get an opportunity to learn my level or what I'm doing. But I don't care because I got an extra level. And they're going to give me more items, magic items. I am powered up like crazy. I feel like I could fight T-Mat with my Ranger. Now, as great as these dungeon masters are, these Smash Brother dungeon masters, they have their own little problem. There's a plot. We don't remember it, but there's a plot. It's like, yeah, we got to go in the cave to stop these guys. We're like, oh, okay, why? Nah, they're bad guys. We're like, oh, okay. All right. So the plot is paper thin, but, it is what it is. All right. I remember I was playing the Mad Mage with a group, and we get to the last level. We got to fight the Mad Mage. We're ready for it. We've definitely spent like around 8 months going through this whole dungeon, all 25 levels I think they have. And we get to the last level. And then we're like, why are we here again? Like, we got the gold, we got money, we got all this stuff. We could just leave. We could just leave. To be quite honest, I didn't know there was a plot in the Mad Mage until I spoke to another dungeon master about it. So I was like, wait, there's a plot in Mad Mage? Oh, wow. I didn't know. But that's the thing. With these Smash Brother Dungeon Masters, if you have a backstory, it's not going to be used. It's not. You could try, but they're not in there for it. All right. I mean, I'm gonna be fair. Some of these dungeon masters, they didn't read the whole the book yet for the whole module yet. So you adding your story to it, that's not gonna happen. So there's that. The next type of dungeon master is the Lord of the Rings dungeon master. These are the dungeon masters that are trying to, this campaign is a epic trilogy. They are going to make you the greatest adventurer party that the Sword Coast has ever seen. It's only just going to take 5 years for that to happen. But these dungeon masters go and they will incorporate everyone's backstory. They want to know where you're from, your family, your friends, why you started to become an adventurer, who was your bully in your 6th grade class, what was your first job. And when I say they will put everything into this campaign that you put into your backstory. Everyone's backstory. So not only do you have the main plot, which these Lord of the Ring dungeon masters have read cover to cover. They've even read extra books about the module. So they know extra things about it that you're just like, wow. They're going to put the main plot in. Plus they're adding the other 4 or 5 players' backstories in it. To the point where it's an epic adventure. All right. When you finish with this campaign with this type of dungeon master, you're going to have a story of the ages. You just got to finish it. Because these dungeon masters pack so much material and stuff in a story that I think in order to finish it may take around like 2 to 3 years. All right, I'll be honest with you. And I mean, because how the pace and everything's going to finish the main story plus everyone's story, it's going to take a while. All right. Also, with these dungeon masters, you're gonna be at your level for a while. All right. I always used to joke with the group I talked about I think 2 weeks ago, the Feather Toes, and I love that group. They know I do. James, I love you. I even remembered your name. That's how much I love you. We was in the campaign for had to have been like 16 months. We started at level 1. We ended at level 7. And that's because they don't want the character to outgrow the story. So they try to keep it at a certain level that it makes sense. So I get that part. Not even mad about it. Even so, James, understand this. Even though, I may have complained about it a lot, I understood. I just had to give you a hard time about it. But yeah, so you're going to level up very slowly in that. Also, The Lord of the Ring dungeon masters are some of the cheapest dungeon masters ever. All right, like if you want a magic, they ain't give you no gold. They ain't give you nothing. If you want to go and get a +1 axe, it's gonna cost you like 100,000 gold pieces, or you can find one. You just got to go into the layer T mat to get it, and you're like, for a +1 axe, like they don't give you guys nothing. All right. No magic items, like to the point where you're like, yo, is there magic in the world? Because I don't got nothing. And also with these types of dungeon masters, I've gone a session or two without combat with them. Now I understand it sounds like I'm getting on them, but I'm not, because unlike with the Smash Brothers DMing style, you're fighting all the time. But these enemies are like empty calories. They mean nothing. With the Lord of the Rings Dungeon Master, when you fight someone, you want to fight them. You got history. Like the Goblin got a backstory. The cave the Goblin is in got a backstory. The dog he got has a backstory. The cage that the princess was in got a backstory. Everything got a backstory. You really, really don't like the Goblin by the time you face him with this Lord of the Rings dungeon mastering style. All right, and also you got to take notes, man. You got to take notes. I mean, they will go, it'll be session 10, and then they'll go and like, yeah, you remember that tree that you passed with that writing on it in the second session? And I'm like, it's session 10. I don't remember that tree. Yeah, well, you should have took notes. And I'm like, it was a tree with some writing. I didn't think it was important. Everything's important. And I'm like, oh, okay. I guess it is. So, I have definitely had a lot of fun with these types of DMs, and they've definitely have given me some epic stories. I've had one when I was playing with my monk, and I was fighting a dragon, and the DM threw me off a mountain, which I still upset at him to this day. And the wizard grabbed me because he did the fly spell, grabbed me, threw me there. No, actually, I think the wizard actually put flying on me, so because he's a wizard, he don't have that much strength. So I was able to hold him up, and I had an epic battle, and I did like a flying dive punch to the dragon and stunned him. It was amazing. So I say that because these are the spectrums of different dungeon masters. Okay, so I understand that I said that in the beginning. I put them in a box, but no, it's a spectrum. All right, from you have Lord of the Rings Dungeon Master, Smash Brothers Dungeon Master, and somewhere in that little line, that's where you are. Now, as I said, most dungeon masters are the Smash Brothers Dungeon Master because of the fact that I think it's an easier style of DMing. But it is effective because people come you play Dungeons and Dragons to fight and roll some dice. So that's important. But the Lord of the Rings Dungeon Master has made me fall in love with certain characters. All right. I got, Barry from the Feathertoes. I got Tobiah from there's a homebrew game that I played with it. I think I use Tobiah a lot in my games, but then again, I'm terrible with names, so they understand that. So I use a lot of my family names and stuff because it helps me remember it, but that's a different story. But with the Lord of the Rings dungeon mastering style, I have fell in love with these characters because I've had so much great role-playing moments. And the combat that I did have did mean a lot. So the moments are really good, even if it took forever for it to get there. And the Smash Brother DM is good too because, hey, I get to roll some dice, be powerful, and run through a lot of enemies, even if I don't know why I was there. So those are the two styles of dungeon mastering that I have encountered over the many, many, many years of me playing D&D, which is only like 3 years. But I've gone through a lot of DMs, which I'll probably do another video on that. But even though I that was my theory, I could be wrong. All right, and that's where I open the floor up to you guys. All right, are there other styles of DMing? Did I miss something? Am I being overly critical of the Lord of the Rings DMing or the Smash Brothers DMs? Please put it in the comment section. I will go. I will reply, and like I said, I want to have a discussion. I want to talk about it. All right. Well, I'm gonna go outside. I got this fancy shirt. I ain't gonna let it go to waste. I'm gonna go and have myself one hell of a bar night. So thank you very much for joining me for Adam's Theory. Please, hey, just roll some dice. I think that's how I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end my sessions like that. Roll some dice. All right, bye.